My next guest is going to be taking on Polyana Viana coming up here at UFC Vegas 8 on August 29th. It is Emily Whitmire back here on the program. Emily, how's it going?
It's been really, really good, actually.
That's good to hear. I could tell. I was looking at your Instagram and I saw now you're training at Syndicate. Is this like a permanent move or just something you're trying for this camp? What's the latest with that?
So the last time I was preparing for Polyana, I actually was training with Syndicate a little bit. They were doing a lot of their practices at the PI, and so I was jumping into those. And then COVID happened, obviously, so no one was training. And then I went to Denver for a month and went out and checked out Elevation. I loved it out there. It was really awesome. But when I came back and I went and trained at Syndicate, it just kind of felt good and right. And having Roxy and Joe, there's another girl, Valerie, she's up and coming. She's super awesome. So just having like all the girl training partners here in the PI, it was like, I wanted to move to Colorado so bad, but there was like something that was just kind of holding me back. So like maybe later down the road or whatever, but I'm really clicking well with Syndicate right now. So I just really listened to my gut on this one. You know, I was trying to go to Denver and like something was just like not right about that feeling. And then when I got back and went to Syndicate, I was like, okay, I think I can make things work here.
Interesting. What about Colorado? I mean, you're an outdoors person. This is something I've always known about you. I think it's a Pacific Northwest thing, by the way, 'cause I'm the same way. But was it the mountains? Obviously, the marijuana industry is pretty big out there too. Like, what sort of drew you to that? And there's good training camps, obviously.
Well, there's a lot of good girls out there. Shauna Dobson, she's out there. So we're still pretty close from being on the show together. And nature, I get so like depressed here kind of in the summertime, like not right now, but sometimes when I see all my friends' stuff from back home in Oregon, like I'm just like, man, like it's just hard here in the summer. Like it's just so hot to go do anything. And like I love Vegas. Like, I don't get me wrong, like there's tons of nature stuff to do here, but like just being able to be around like trees and flowers and like things like that, like so that was kind of what was drawing me there. But then also I was like, I don't know if I want to live that far from the ocean. Like I love going to the coast, and like being right in the middle of the country was like a little bit nerve-wracking too. So I met so many awesome people out there though. So like I think I'll be back out there to train and like hang out with all the girls. I was Mallory Martin, Claire, like Gunther, she's out there. So like there's just a lot of like there's so many good girls right now to go train with, and everyone's so awesome. So whether it's like Denver or here, like it's good work.
Yeah, you're open to it. Actually, I just talked to Neil Magny. I guess Montana De La Rosa's training out there too, someone you know.
Yeah, Montana went out there. So we actually overlapped. So she was out there for a period of time when I was out there too. So we got some training in. So yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's just kind of like, it's so good here and then it's so good there. So it's like, what do you do?
Yes, no, for sure. So glad to see they got this fight rebooked. Of course, you guys were supposed to fight earlier this year. For those who don't know, I know you had sort of like an illness. I don't know if it was weight cut related. What exactly happened? Why did the last fight? Because you didn't get cleared, basically, I think because of a tough weight cut. That was my understanding. But let's hear it from the source.
Okay. So yeah, 2 weeks before the fight, I got an email. I guess my CBC on my blood work came back bad. I guess my white blood cells were like super elevated and a couple other things. I don't know how to pronounce them. So my body was fighting something. So the UFC had me go in. They had thought I had mono. So I took a mono test. Wasn't mono. Then there was some other things going on. And they actually had me come in and like talk to another doctor because they almost wanted to give me a leukemia test. That my like white blood cell was so off. And so I didn't train all that week. And then by the next week, I was kind of starting to feel better. I mean, I spent almost like $1,000 on blood work that camp. Like I had to go in and get tons of tests ran. And then after the week of rest, like my body started feeling a little bit better. And so then I trained that week and then it was the fight. And so I think I started feeling better and I was like mentally like, okay, I can do this. Like my weight was low. Like I'd been training. I put in all the work. Like I wanted to fight. And so like kind of fighter mentality. And looking back, I probably should have pulled out, but I've never done that. And so like, I was like, no, I can fight. I can make this work. The weight cut didn't even cross my mind because my weight was low. Like that, my body would have had a hard time dropping those pounds. And so like when we started the cut, I think I had 7 pounds, which I mean, that's a decent amount, but not a lot. But it was coming off so slow. It was like a half a pound an hour, like sometimes even less. And like my body, I think it was like starting to heal a little bit. And then I depleted my calories for fight week and then went to go cut the weight. And my body just like shut down and was like, we're not doing this. So it was just like, it was a serious nightmare. That is like every fighter's worst nightmare because I didn't even think about it because I make weights relatively easy for me to make. I mean, I was 24 and a half this morning and that's, I'm 2 weeks out. So like I could cut from here if I really wanted to, So it was just having to get naked and rushed in there and then all the cameras are on you and like you feel like shit. And then everybody posts about me missing weight. They don't post about the fight. And like, it just kind of sucks, you know, like that's like gonna be forever one of my worst moments. And like and I was just out for everyone to see. And I know like we're entertainers and it's entertainment, but like that wasn't entertainment. That was like really hard. And like, you know, like just like, it's just like kind of degrading, you know, like you're like getting naked in a towel and like standing on a scale and emaciated. And it's just like, it was bad.
No, absolutely. No, I'm sorry to hear that. Like, I didn't realize, and I mean, of course, fans are idiots. Like, I remember when Jessica I missed weight, it's like, it's because of her, it was that, I guess she was on her cycle. And so, like, fans don't know stuff like that. So they're just dumb. They just think, oh, they're lazy. They're eating Cheetos leading into this fight, right? Like, it's that stupid fan mentality. So, yeah, that's a bummer. Really sorry you had to go through that.
If you're in this sport long enough, like, eventually you're going to end up taking a fight, probably when you shouldn't. You're going to have a bad weight cut. Like, you just can't do this for 10 years and not, like, have any bumps in the road. So, I mean, I'm over it now. Like, all I can do is like make weight on the 28th and fight well on the 29th and like just put it behind me. Like, I'm just, you know, I felt so bad for Polyana too. Like, she was super sweet about it. And like, I mean, I was 1.5 pounds off. So like, obviously I wasn't like, I didn't come in 5 pounds over. Like, I didn't even try. Like, I tried so hard. And so like, I just felt bad. They came all the way up here and now they're coming all the way up here again. So like, I just want to make sure we have a great fight and, you know, just really like go put on a show for everyone.
When did you actually get back to training? Because I'm sure when that all went through and also like, you know, thinking you might have had leukemia or whatever, like that's got to weigh on you mentally. At least this fight you're going in and it's like, you don't have to worry about all those things, not have those distractions. But yeah, I was going to ask you, like, when did you actually get back to training? Because I'm sure you wanted to be extra cautious getting back in there with everything you went through.
Oh yeah. So like the whole week after, I mean, I had like a horrible, like, migraine headache. Like, I was nauseous. Like, I was like, my kidneys still hurt like through the week. Like, I was not doing good. So, I mean, I think it was like a week later, or not even maybe 2 weeks, like that's when all the COVID stuff hit and then everything shut down. So I was doing some like running and like a little bit of stuff like by the end of the month and feeling pretty good. And then really getting back to training was when I went up to Colorado. So I went up there the end of May. So I got, you know, that was kind of like not the best idea. I was like, I'm going to go get in shape in Colorado in elevation. So that was kind of hard, but it was good. I felt really good when I got back down here. So I've been training hard for the last few months. So, I mean, I'm on, it's go time.
Excellent. Training partners. JoJo just had her fight. Unfortunate news with that, but I'm sure you got to work with
bummer,
her.
Yeah.
It was, you feel bad because obviously she had the shot and she felt like she was going to win. And it's just one of those, you know, it's tough, right? Like that happened to Jack Hermanson, by the way. A lot of people forget that. He was in a good position to win the middleweight title, took a fight against Jared Cannonier and got knocked out. So it can happen to anyone as far as that goes. But who else have you got to work with? So Roxy, Joanne Calderwood. You talked about a few other names there.
Valerie Wong. She's only had one pro fight, but she is a killer. She's young. I think she just turned 23. Her and her boyfriend just moved down here from California, and she is awesome. That is definitely a girl to keep your eye out for. So, and then there's another girl, Sydney. I don't know her last name, but her dad was actually in the UFC. I want to say like Slick Joe, or like he's an old Militich guy, like way back in the day. So his daughter's in there training. She's 18. She's a badass. I definitely like, we get good work in, like definitely on the feet. Like her stand up is awesome. And she's only 18. I'm like, dude, this girl's going to be a killer in like no time. Yeah. No, it's crazy. Yeah. Well, we just had, what was it, on Tuesday, we had that Corey McKenna girl who's 21 who just beat the LFA champ. I mean, it's crazy to see the evolution. That one. Oh, you got to watch it. It's really good. Yeah, it was a good fight. I'm so bummed. I was like, I wanted to see that, and then I left the gym, and I don't know, I got sidetracked, and I got, you know, and then I got on Instagram and I saw the picture. I was like, dang it, I missed it. So I'll have to go back and try and watch it. And yeah, like you said, weight cut's going well. You're, you know, what, 10 pounds off right now. So everything's, I mean, you're, 2 weeks out. So you got lots of time anyway. So. Oh yeah. I'm still eating salt and carbs and like everything. So it's actually 8 pounds. So, I mean, I'm yeah, right. Sorry. I was never good at math in school. So my apologies, but there you go. It's okay. It's okay. Who's going to be in your, make me heavier than I am. Yes. No worries. We want to set the record straight here. Don't get all the fans in this interview. Right. Who, like, she's fat. Yeah. Who's going to be in your corner for this fight? That's something that was, is John Wood going to be in there? Yep. John Wood's going to be in my corner. We've been clicking really well. He's really like helped me like clean a few things up, and JoJo will be in my corner as well. And then actually Sarah Kaufman. So Sarah Kaufman's been down helping. So Sarah Kaufman will be in my corner too. So she's like so knowledgeable and just like such a veteran in the sport. I remember like having like no fights or one fight and watching her in Strike Force, and like I always thought she was so badass, and like now training with her, it's like, a little surreal. So we have her like for another like 3 weeks. So
Yeah,
yeah.
Sarah lives in the same province as me. She lives on the island, but I live out here, so it's cool to see what she's been able to do.
See her. Yeah,
You got to come out. You would love it up here. Have you ever been out to Vancouver?
I've never been to Vancouver, but I went to the San Juan Island, so like a little bit in the area. But
Close,
I saw a picture of it was either Victoria or Vancouver, and it was like just right on the water and the mountains. And you could see all. I mean, it was just so. I was like,
you'd really like it
Canada.
up here. Like I see all your Instagram photos, and I'm like, yeah, you totally dig some of it because there's a lot of good like hiking trails, good camping. Like you're all about that. So I think you'd have a really, and it's because we're close to Washington State as well. So it's sort of the same, whatever you want to call it, scenery, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah.
How's the fight playing out on the 29th? Really interesting matchup. And again, like I said, you haven't fought in a bit, so I'm sure your new camp. We're excited for this one. How's it playing out?
I visualize it like quite a few ways. I definitely would like to see a lot of stand up in this fight. I know she has a good ground, so we might try and avoid that a little bit. I didn't see anything like too crazy scary though when she fought Hannah Cyphers. So I mean, she's a brown belt, I think. So I mean, I know she has like good stuff on the ground, but I'm super confident in my stuff on the ground. Like it's weird because all of my losses are by submission, but like in the gym, I don't really ever get submitted, and I'm like, I don't know if that's because people aren't going for them as much, or like if I'm just in a better like mindset, but like the ground is where I shine in the gym. So it's so weird for me. Like, I mean, I can do well against like black belts, like I've done really well against high level grapplers. So then when I go out in the cage and I get submitted, I'm like, what the fuck happened?
But this is something we've talked about though. Don't you think too? And I mean, I could be wrong. Here's a guy just behind a webcam here, but I know this is something we've talked about where it's like, mentally, if you're on your game, you're pretty, you're unstoppable, right? Like if you're really, and I think it's good that you've sort of had, went through all this because now it's like, you come into this, you got no distractions. You're just going into this with a good camp. You're with a new camp. Like that's what's exciting about this fight to see if, you can get to that level again. Right. So.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I just feel so excited for this one. Like I kind of have like the same feelings like when I fought like Jamie Moyle, like it was like do or die and like I'm not dying. So like I just feel so excited and everything's been clicking so well with John Wood and like at Syndicate, like my hands feel so much better. Like all my sparring's been like really precise. Like I'm like being more patient, like just everything. So it's like going into the Amanda Rivas fight, I had so much like extra stuff going on and I was like, doing the fighter thing, like, oh, that doesn't matter. But I listened to a really good audio book and it was talking about like your subconscious mind. And when you're put in those high pressure situations, that is what comes out. You're thinking on your subconscious mind. So when you put all this stuff in the back of your mind, that's your subconscious mind. So then when you get out in that high pressure situation, that's when it all comes to light. And so it's like, I've done that. I've had bad things going on. I go out there and then I'm like it's like a dream. Like I just didn't even feel like I was in the cage really. And then there's other fights you get out there and you're just like, oh yeah, go time. So I don't know why I'm, so back and forth. I read audiobooks. I know, like, I think Joanna touched on this. Like when your personal life is not going well, it's so hard to go out there and perform at the highest levels. Like you have to like really protect yourself and your bubble and you can't let anyone shit on your light because the moment you let somebody in your circle and they're going to do that to you, it's going to come out later. You can pretend and wash it off as much as you want, but when someone close to you is like not good, that weighs on you.
Last question before I let you go. You didn't think we were going to get out here without talking about Bruce. How's he doing? I see the photos. You take him everywhere. I love that. I think that's great.
Oh yeah. He's my buddy. Like sometimes when I feel like the trip might be hard on him, I want to leave him. And then I remember him like, he is so depressed without me. My friend that watches him, she's like, he gets really sad without you. I'm like, oh, it breaks my heart. So like, I'd rather just like take him with like, if I can have Bruce with me, I'm always going to take him no matter what. But he's been good. He did have a seizure. Yeah, it was like 2 weeks of like horrible. So it was at like the beginning of May. He had a seizure and I was worried about taking him all the way to Colorado, but I got him on some CBD. Shout out to World Class Health CBD. They've been helping. So I think that he hasn't had one since. I have talked to people that had boxers and they said when they started getting older, they would have grand mal seizures sometimes. So he's just getting old. I mean, like it breaks my heart. If I had one wish, it would be that he could live forever at like 6, so we didn't have any like hip pain or anything. It just sucks. I see him slowing down a little bit. Like we went on a run the other day and like he was like lagging behind a little bit, and I was like, oh, like it just breaks my heart. But he's good. Like he's as healthy as he can be. Like I'm cooking his food. Like he's happy, but his little face is getting real gray like everywhere. It's so sad.
How long have you had him? I was trying to remember.
So I got him when he was 6.5 weeks old. So I was 19 when I got him.
Oh wow. Okay, I didn't realize. Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So I remember being like, I had like a couple amateur fights, and I remember like I was like working a lot and training a lot, and I was so nervous. I was like, I don't know if it's a good idea to get a dog. And I was dating somebody at the time, and we actually ended up getting 2. So we got him and his brother, and then when we broke up, we each took a dog. We went to get Bruce though. Bruce was mine. That was my Christmas present. Like that was mine. And then he was like, oh, like I kind of want one now too. And we were like, okay, let's get 2, you know? But yeah, I've had him since I was 19. He was 6.5 weeks old when we picked him up. So like, he was just like, they say 8 weeks. So like, I mean, he was like really tiny. I think they were struggling and kind of needed the money or something, but like, we've been like inseparable for like, you know, ever. And I think about it and I'm like, literally like my whole career I've had him, every breakup, every trip, like I've always had him with me. And like 19 to like 30 something, that's like that's a big chunk of like growing up and like having that. And I'm just like, I'm nervous like how life will be without him. Like I'm going to travel and do a ton of stuff like I want to do that I can't really do when I have a dog, but like, and I don't know if I'll get another dog after him for a while. Like he's really special. Like we're really like connected. Like I can literally just like look in his eyes and like tell what he wants. Like I swear, like we like communicate like mentally or something. Yeah.
Well, really excited to get you, see you back in the cage here, August 29th. Emily, always great talking with you. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and I'm sure you got some people to thank, so I'll give you the last word.
Yes, you can find my Instagram and my Twitter. It's Whitmire 115, and then shout out to Green Life Productions. They're always taking care of me. Steve Cantwell and Quanine, they're just amazing. And then World Class Health CBD. They have seriously like the best CBD I've ever taken. I've tried tons of them. Some are great, some are not so great, and they're all terpene infused. They are super clean. Like they actually have a CBD weed, so I like was smoking a little bit of that when I can't smoke the THC weed, and so yeah, it's been good. Like I got some good sponsors right now, good people around me, so yeah, I just want to thank everybody that's supported me over these last few years.